Hey everyone, buckle up because today we're diving into a mystery that's been whispered about for over half a century. Picture this, October 4th, 1970, a dimly lit hotel room in Hollywood, and one of the greatest voices in rock history, Janis Joplin, is found lifeless on the floor. The official story? A heroin overdose. But what if there's more to it? What if the truth about Janis's death isn't what we've been told? Stick with me until the end of this video because I'm about to uncover some jaw-dropping details that might just change how you see this rock legend's final moments. Let's get started. Janis Joplin was no ordinary star. Born in 1943 in Port Arthur, Texas, she burst onto the scene in the late 1960s with a voice that could shake your soul. Her raw, bluesy style and electrifying stage presence made her the queen of psychedelic rock. From her breakout performance at the Monterey Pop Festival in 1967 to her unforgettable set at Woodstock in 1969, Janis lived hard and loved harder. Her music, like Piece of My Heart and Me and Bobby McGee, captured the pain and passion of a generation. But behind the feather boas and Southern Comfort bottle, Janis was fighting battles most of us never saw. And that brings us to the question, how did this vibrant, unstoppable force end up dead at just 27? Here's the hook. Janis's death wasn't just a tragedy, it's a puzzle with missing pieces. The story we've all heard is that she overdosed on heroin in room 105 at the Landmark Motor Hotel. She was found by her road manager, John Byrne Cook, clutching cigarettes in one hand and change in the other, as if she'd just come back from the lobby. The coroner, Thomas Noguchi, ruled it an accidental heroin overdose, possibly worsened by alcohol. No drugs or paraphernalia were found in the room, which raised eyebrows. Sounds straightforward, right? But hold on, because things don't add up as neatly as they seem. Keep watching, because what comes next might shock you. Let's set the scene. It's 1970, and Janis is in Los Angeles, putting the final touches on her album Pearl, which would become a massive hit after her death. She's working with her new band, the Full Tilt Boogie Band, and she's excited about the music. She's even engaged to a guy named Seth Morgan. Life seems good, but Janis had a dark side. She struggled with heroin addiction and heavy drinking for years. Southern Comfort was her signature, but heroin was her demon. She'd been clean for 6 months before this, according to her road manager, but something pulled her back. Was it the stress of fame, loneliness, or something else entirely? That's what we're going to explore. Now, here's where things get murky. Peggy Caserta, Janis's close friend and sometimes lover, dropped a bombshell in her 2018 memoir, I Ran Into Some Trouble. She says Janis didn't die from an overdose. Peggy, who was no stranger to heroin herself, claims she used the same batch of drugs as Janis that weekend and didn't overdose. She argues Janis couldn't have gone to the lobby for cigarettes and returned to her room if she'd taken a lethal dose. You crumble to the floor, Peggy said, referencing her own overdose experiences. Instead, she believes Janis tripped on the room's shag carpet, caught her high-heeled sandal, and fell, hitting her face on the nightstand. This, Peggy says, caused a broken nose and asphyxiation from blood in her throat. Could this be the real story? Stay with me, because there's more. The official report paints a different picture. The coroner found fresh needle marks on Janis's arm, 10 to 14 of them. Toxicology reports confirmed a fatal amount of heroin in her system, and alcohol was present too. But here's the twist. Several other people in Los Angeles overdosed that same weekend, all from an unusually potent batch of heroin, reportedly 40 to 50% pure, far stronger than the usual street stuff. Janis's supplier, a guy named George, usually had his drugs tested, but this time, his chemist was out of town. Could Janis have been a victim of bad luck, caught by a batch she didn't know was deadly? Or does Peggy's story hold water? This is why you need to watch until the end. We're peeling back layers here. Let's talk about Janis's final days. She was in a great mood, recording a birthday message for John Lennon just days before her death. She was set to lay down vocals for a song called Buried Alive in the Blues, but she never made it to the studio that Sunday. Her road manager, John Cook, got worried when she didn't show up. He found her car in the hotel lot, her drapes drawn, and no answer at her door. When he and the manager entered her room, they found her wedged between the bed and nightstand, already gone for about 12 hours. The scene was haunting, change in her hand, cigarettes nearby, and a life cut short. But why were no drugs found in the room? Some say a friend removed evidence to protect her legacy, only to replace it later for the autopsy. Suspicious, right? Here's another hook. Janis wasn't just a rock star, she was a complex woman who felt everything deeply. She once said, "I make love to 25,000 people at a concert, then go home alone." Despite her bold image, she battled loneliness, insecurity, and the scars of a tough childhood in Texas, where she was bullied for her looks and love of blues music. Her struggles fueled her music, but also her addiction. Could her emotional pain have led to a fatal mistake that night? Or was it something else, like Peggy's theory suggests? We're getting closer to the truth, so don't go anywhere. Before we wrap up, here's why you had to watch until the end. We've uncovered a story that's more than just an overdose. It's about a woman who gave everything to her art, whose life was as raw as her voice. Janis Joplin wasn't just a singer, she was a force, and her death is a reminder of how fragile even the brightest stars can be. If this video moved you, hit that like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more stories that dig deep into music history. Let's honor Janis by keeping her story alive. See you in the next one.